We all know that there's evil amongst us in this world. At some point in time in our lives, we have had to deal with a situation, a person that was just pure out evil. And it's easy to want to take things into your own hands, to want to get revenge against that person for whatever that they have done. But taking revenge into your own hands doesn't leave God any room to vindicate us. When we take these issues to God in prayer and let God handle these things, we're not caught in the crossfire. Because you know that saying that two wrongs don't make a right. So just because somebody does you wrong doesn't mean you go and do it back to them or worse. And it's okay to be angry, just not living in that anger. Be angry. Get over the situation as best as you can. Give it to God. And do what you got to do to move on and let God take care of it. Because one thing about it, two things for sure. God is not going to allow people to just come in your life and think they can just do whatever they want to you. And there's no consequences. But you got to trust that He's going to actually take care of it in His timing. You can't worry about how long it's going to take. Because God's ways are not our ways. Our thoughts are not His thoughts. But in due time, your vindication will come. And so I'm reading in 2 Samuel right now, and I just got through with the part of Daniel's, just reading about reading about his son Absalom, the fall of his son. And originally how this came about, Absalom became angry at his half-brother Abnon for, he pretty much raped Absalom's sister Tamar. And their dad, David, didn't do anything about it. David was angry, but because of David's prior sin, there was just something, like he felt like he couldn't go after his son because of the things that he had done. So he was angry about what his son had done to Tamar, but he didn't take action. And on top of Amnon raping Tamar, when something like that happened back in those days, he was supposed to marry her, but he refused. And that was like a disgrace. Absalom was furious, but he just sheltered his sister and waited 2 years, and nothing was done to his brother Amnon. And so basically Absalom took matters into his own hands and had Amnon killed. Absalom fled, but after a time, you know, David had him come back, but he wouldn't see his son. And I think it was like for 2 years or so, about the same amount of time that Absalom waited to see was his dad gonna do anything to his son for raping Tamar. So David wouldn't see Absalom. He just wouldn't see him, but he agreed for him to come back to Israel. So Absalom made this plot to overthrow David. Very cunning man, according to the Bible, very good looking, and had long hair. He cut his hair like once a year. So, but he went on to try to overthrow his dad, David, and become king. But it ended up backfiring on Absalom. And Absalom ended up being caught up by this oak tree. He was riding on this mule, running from David's troops, and got hung up on this oak tree and was pretty much killed by some of David's officials, Joab, I do believe, and some other people that was with Joab, and they killed him and pretty much, discarded him. Absalom's anger got the best of him from what happened to his sister. And then he was even more furious that his dad took so long to forgive him and to just comfort him and to console him after he came back. So Absalom tried to use what he had, what he was blessed with, per se, how he could convince people to listen to him. So he tried to undo basically what God had done for David. And so God humbled him in the worst way. He met his demise, unfortunately. And that just reminded me of how things happen in the world today. How people would just take things into their own hands and try to handle situations because of anger, because of pride, because, they feel entitled. We got to know that God has all power in his hands. And if we want true and real justice, we need to take everything to the courts of heaven. And of course, if you do it in the right way, all matters are going to be ruled in your favor. So the next time that something happens, I'm just encouraging my brothers and sisters in Christ on tonight. Take the situation to the Lord. Don't allow a negative situation or person to have you be thrown in a pit with them. Forgive people. Keep your good heart. And like I said, take it to the Lord. I love you all. Have a great night. Bye-bye.